Hello everyone, this is Jasmine, aka Gladiatorinsweats, and I'm here for a daily tarot message just for the collective and just in regards to the planetary aspects and transits going on today as well, because Sun is currently conjunct Pluto, which, I mean, for me, I am just a big lover and studier of Pluto, and I just enjoy recognizing the Pluto energy when it does become, apparent and when it's relevant to our lives. And so I really felt like it was important to channel a message for the collective in this regard. And so just getting straight into the cards, because if you did see my story on Instagram, I did say that these cards were a bit intense. And so just getting straight into them with this Eight of Wands and King of Wands in reverse. I mean, automatically, I felt this as like a coming of, I guess you can frame it as an attack, but really like a coming of change. Like some change is on the way, change of direction, change of path. So with this King of Wands in reverse, like I had automatically seen this as like a tyrant, as like some change taking place over some sort of character or some sort of power or authority that is maybe a little tyrannical, or maybe at the very least, thinks that they're always right and thinks that, their assertion is the correct one. It's the way that we have to go. Kind of like a it's my way or the highway sort of feel to it, I kind of get. But it's just like super macho when I think of a King of Wands in reverse. Just super like mannish. So I don't know. First thing that came to my mind was Trump, but that's like, I don't really get into politics that much anymore or anything, so like that's just my intuitive guess. Or just, this doesn't even have to be about Trump, this could be just any sort of authority or figure, I feel, where like they are really going hard with their, again, like I was saying, like their assertion and like their point of view and the way that they want to go about something. And so I've seen this kind of like an offense, or really like a sort of like I said, like an offense to this. I don't know, frame it again like as an attack, but again, that's kind of really what it feels like when you look at these cards. Even it just feels like an attack. It feels like some sort of like, the word coup comes to mind, but like I said, it just feels like something very like confrontational here that is like going on or on in the works here. And so another thing here with the King of Wands is this could also again be a reflection of the outgrown parts of ourselves, the ego part that's really driving and hanging on and really wanting to let us know and determine that no, I am right. No, like we're not going to change up the script. We're not going to, flip the perception. We're not going to do that. Like that's what I feel here, even with this King of Wands, is maybe that resistance to the changes that have been taking place. More on this salamander. All these references to this salamander that have been coming up a lot lately. And so I do feel this is about that fire, the Aries and the Mars energy, but also feel like this is also about the initiation by fire, the initiation by this Aquarian and like fire to energy that's coming through. So not just about what may be going on in our outside perspective, or someone else that may be carrying this sort of highly aggressive energy, but I do feel like, again, everything always reflects back to the personal too, and to the self. And so I do want to acknowledge that perspective as well. I pulled some more cards, but I pulled them from my Angelarium deck because I really wanted to get clear on this and make sure I wasn't just like, tripping or anything. And so the card that I did pull was the Angel of Punishment. And so it's kind of hard for me to ignore what this feels like for me. And even the punishment isn't the way that I view things. Again, it's not even in this air really of like messing up in a moral sense, but for me, I really see it more along the lines of like when you're not doing something in your truth or in your integrity again, because especially like just as an aside, when you think of like the whole story of Adam and Eve, we don't have to go into like the whole like what's false about it and all that. I just want to use this for my example of like the whole idea of the knowledge of good and bad, of when you like recognize or are able to discern that something is not in your integrity, or it's not, in alignment with what you feel is true for yourself and what you feel is true, for your world. That's where we can get into this whole understanding of like sin or like punishment. But this could be a whole nother topic. So again, I digress. Really, again, what I feel here is definitely this feeling of like of using our power, or having used some sort of power in a way that was unjust. And I'll just even read the little passage that does come with it from the Angelarium deck. But it does it does say, "The hunter whose prey is falsehood, oath breakers beware, Kushiel will seek you out. Even as you stalk your own victims, punishment is upon you. No one who escapes the mark of Kushiel. There are consequences for breaking your word. The pieces sharpen and sink into your flesh, embedding them within your heart. So long as the offense stands, you will always be held in the sights of the hunter. Seeking absolution is noble, however tedious. Begin that journey with haste, lest Kushiel finds you first." So with the message, it feels more like a warning, but here I feel like this isn't about a warning. This is about like something that's actually already in process, because of the bottom of the deck also being like an accompanying angel of punishment, which is Hasmid, the angel of annihilation. So together we have two, like, not even just these, but like all of these cards here for me are definitely resonating on this line of like something has been untrue and something's being done about it. Or it's not even being done, but something's being undone. Because Hasmid is about an undoing. It's about an like not really even like a reversal, but like yeah, it's like a grand undoing. Again, I'll even read the passage to that one as well. So as this says, "The unmaker, a terrible sight to behold, the void eating itself and making itself anew. That which should no longer exist is unmade by Hasmed's hands. There is something that needs to be removed. Look upon that which should not be and loosen it from existence." So yeah, like definitely here is that, just even within these passages is this resonance of something having not been right, and not in this idea again of moral posturing, or this whole idea of like duality and people having this right or wrong sort of perception. This is, for me, so much more of the grander picture of things not being in alignment, of things having been messed with, of the divine scheme or plan, being tinkered with. And so I feel here this is about that undoing or fixing, to put it in very simple terms here. But not even just that, but even with Hasmed, this energy or even like the symbolism here is, of an eclipse, or of like an emptiness. And so I feel here this is even relevant to the full lunar eclipse that we're going to have in a couple weeks too. So yeah, just all together, I really do feel this like this being a part of this eclipse process, and also of, as I've been talking about, these actual like crystallization or manifestations of these underlying desires and these root issues coming to the fore, so that we're able to actually deal with them. And in some of these cases here, which I feel here is an undoing of what has been done. So yeah, and even I just want to mention about like some of these phrases that they brought up for the Kushiel card of, your sword breaking and those pieces sharpen and sinking into your flesh. I feel again, as I was referring to that sword energy in my last video that I put up for the Resonant Moon Month, and I spoke about the Three of Swords that we had within that spread. And so again, I feel here, as I was talking about in that one, of this being more relative to the perception of things and relative more to the illusion and the ways in which we are just not seeing things in the correct way. And I feel like that was what was really having to deal with these pains within our heart. And I feel like that's reflected within the card of these untruths and these lies, and not even to frame it like specifically in this frame of like us lying to ourselves, but it's, having been trapped, stuck, however you want to frame it, within this framework, this matrix of illusion. And so all of that has created a lot of this suffering of us not being very aware of what's going on, of our purpose in the sense of why it is that we are even here and who it is that we are, all of that. And so I do recognize this as, again, just an undoing of all the stuff. And I feel like, again, this is really just a whole nother way of describing what I've been talking about in the past week or so, about us coming back to center and coming back into ourselves. So I did pull some final cards just because these cards were, like I said, they were tense. I don't want to say scary, but they were just definitely, to me, like intense, about not necessarily just a warning, but just about an inevitable calling, letting us know. Like, I just felt this very much about, like, this being a judgment card sort of moment of a deep inner knowing and calling of this process that is inevitably taking place. So I did want to pull some cards as like, some affirmations or just something to maybe lighten this up as far as giving us a little bit of peace, or just really assuredness about what is taking place, and that we're going to be okay, and that we're built for this. We're going to be going through this because we can do this. So the cards I did pull I actually feel are really good with this reading, and actually are resonant with the bottom of the deck from the tarot deck, which was the Hanged Man. So the card that or the two cards, because it came with two of them. So I got the Gentleness, and as a bonus card, and it's a literal bonus card, Forgiveness. And so together, I do even feel this being resonant with that Hanged Man card here at the bottom as this theme. And of course, I'll go ahead and read these cards to you. So Gentleness says, I speak with gentleness and I listen with gentleness. I align with the gentlest part of myself, and I take joy in being receptive, open, and unafraid. I am like a baby deer who's best friends with a baby elephant. The baby elephant wraps its little trunk around my shoulders, and we lie down gently on the grass, daydreaming and talking about what sorts of humans the clouds look like. So again, these cards are, I love them because they're cute, but underlying this, theme, the very serious, or I don't say serious, but the very genuine message here is, I feel, about, again, being in this sort of receptivity and being more observant of what's taking place. Just sort of, just the way I've been feeling this is about these maybe divine interventions, or these processes that are taking place from a vantage point and perspective that we're not aware of or accessible to on a grand, like, collective scheme. And so I feel this as us requiring a certain level of gentleness. And the second card, Forgiveness, I feel, again, this is coming back into this understanding of us not falling back into the duality play. Because I feel as we are starting to make these physical changes and initiations into these new processes and these new worlds and whatever it is that is being undone also at the same time, I feel like this is talking about a requirement of needing a gentleness, of needing a deeper understanding of why, and of the knowing of us all being connected and us all having a part of the story, to a point where I feel like it's about not holding these sorts of feelings, again creating more emotional attachments to these situations. So I feel here it's about a surrender of these situations, a release of these situations, especially for me, as far as like our emotional attachment goes to us, like suffering because of it or feeling victimized because of it. So I'll go ahead and also read the forgiveness card as well. So it does say, congratulations. You're being given one of the most powerful superpowers there is, forgiveness. Imagine that you've been bitten by a radioactive forgiver. The point is, you suddenly have the ability to forgive people for their flaws, their bad days, their unkind moments, and their mistakes. And the best thing about forgiveness is that you can apply it to yourself too. Have fun wielding your new power. But remember, with great forgiveness comes great inner peace. And so I do feel like this is, again, resonant with this Hanged Man card and the message I feel coming through here about this being this illumination, enlightenment process of us being aware of what's happening and undoing it, as opposed to maybe to try and just frame it in like a way I feel we can understand, where we can get angry and riled up, and oftentimes we may want to act out of revenge or out of spite due to those emotions. And I feel here it's about us coming from a place of emotional maturity to recognize it's not even about, oh, these things didn't hurt me, or that these circumstances or situations or actions or whatever were not harmful to someone, or all of that. It's not about denying the actual human feelings and experiences behind it, but more so about acknowledging, okay, this has happened, and seeing what it is that I am learning from it. What is it that I can even possibly liberate myself from through this, and being able to use that, again, transforming ourself and releasing ourself, as opposed to creating some sort of emotional concept of victimhood through it, and all these other ways in which we can give our power away, or we can create or assume the idea of the situation without actually knowing what's actually taking place from, like I said, these more expanded vantage points. So yeah, I just wanted to provide that message today for Sun Conjunct Pluto. And yeah, even underneath this Hosmid card, though, as I was talking about like all this sort of intense feelings behind this reading, we do have the Sandalphon card, which is about that new life, about the creation of something, like I just said, brand new. So I do feel like this is about, obviously, something new coming through from this undoing, but just being aware that before we get to the new, before we get to, get to the point where we always want to kind of like skip jump towards, we have to get to that destruction, the breaking down of the old, before we're able to use, like I said, that mulch and the fertilizer that was actually harvested from the situation. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And I hope you guys are feeling all right today. Throughout this whole week, I've been super tired, so I don't know if everyone else has been feeling that too, of just really needing to rest or recoup and heal, whatever that has been for you. I just have been really tired, and I've recognized that for others as well, the lethargy and just the desire to rest a lot more lately. So just want to talk a little bit about that too. And so if you've been picking up on that, just know that's okay and it's normal, and give yourself the space to rest. So yeah, that's pretty much it, as I keep saying. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, as always, to those new and returning. So thank you guys so much. So appreciative for you guys' support and energy here. So yeah, you can check my description box to find links to my website if you'd like to book like a personal reading or a personal counseling session with me. And you can also check out my Instagram for more of my frequent posts and the other stuff that doesn't make it to a video here on YouTube. And yeah, do feel free to check out the Resonant Moon Month video previous to this one if you want to check out what should be taking place, on a metaphysical level for us throughout this next moon month. And yeah, that should be pretty much everything. So I leave you guys with so much love, so much appreciation, and I wish you guys so many blessings and healing, throughout this time. And I just really hope that we're all, doing all right. And as I've said in the past video, and I feel like I'm just going to be saying it a lot more, because we really do need to congratulate ourselves and celebrate ourselves and just really soak in a little bit more of that appreciation for ourselves and how far we've come. Because I feel like the journey, just to be frank and just to be honest, I feel like, the journey is going to get harder because, as we level up, so does the playing field. But I feel like we can give ourselves the pat on the backs, while we can and when we find the opportunities, because we don't do it enough, and we seek our accomplishment and success in such wild ways in this world right now, where I feel like we really need to be able to, pat ourselves on the back for the moments where we maintain our integrity, for the moments where we were able to bring ourselves out of our spirals. Like, those sorts of moments need pats on the back too. So you're doing amazing if you're here and you're listening right now. So yeah, I just wanted to transmit that as well. So until the next video, you guys, much love and peace.